Hey everybody, I realized that I hadn't done a haunted video in a while, um, and the one that I did on the Bloody Mary and Candyman thing, that got a lot of views, and so I'm guessing people seem to like that or that kind of stuff. So I'm working on doing a new haunted video. It's like what you would call like another challenge, or I guess you could call it a game. But it's got like a lot of details to it, and it's difficult to pull off because of like how specific the and complex the rules are. It has to be like done perfectly to be like officially done or whatever. I'm gonna try to do that, but in the meantime, I thought I would do one on some horror that I've seen recently. Some of them, I guess you would call horror slash thrillers, psychological and supernatural thrillers. Um, Huge horror fan, really big into horror, and I definitely like some of the YouTube channels that are on here that cover stuff like that. So that really helps me to like find stuff that's good, wasting my time on, um, the commercial horror out there that's just badly done, or just mass produced. But a couple ones that I wanted to talk about today. Number one on the list, best by far. Um, I got to see it in theaters. Movie called It Follows. Yeah, It Follows. And I don't get to see a lot of horror movies in theaters just because when I go to the theater, it's usually with other people, family and friends. So we're usually seeing like some big blockbuster, like one of the superhero movies, or like something for kids. The movie wasn't playing in the theater near me, or like anywhere near me. So it just so happened that I was in another area and had some downtime, checked the showings, and it just happened to be playing. So I was really fortunate to be able to get to see this, because as far as horror goes, I would call it a masterpiece. It was just phenomenal. The movie is called It Follows, directed by David Robert Mitchell, and he also directed the film called The Myth of the American Sleepover. He actually directed that prior to making It Follows, and I definitely want to check that out now. It's actually like a, I guess you would call it a romance directed towards like a teen audience, but this movie was just so phenomenal in every way. The storyline was totally original, and it was completely terrifying. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. There were jump scares, and the tension was building throughout the entire movie with no real release at all. Not even really at the end. Tension was just steadily building the whole time, as well as just this overwhelming sense of dread. And it's just, as far as horror goes, it was just excellent. Like, it's up there on the level of John Carpenter's Halloween, the first one. It really reminded me of that because of the plot, and also because of the soundtrack. The soundtrack I definitely wanted to mention because it was so good. Like it really sounded like 80s or early 90s horror soundtracks. Sounded exactly like that, and it was just really atmospheric. and just really put you into the movie. And pretty much all the actors and actresses in the movie were young. They were, really young, and the whole like surroundings of the movie is like in this neighborhood in suburbia, and featured like this group of close-knit friends, and that element combined with this soundtrack that they used just brought back like this sense of nostalgia from my childhood. It's hard to describe, but that's how it made me feel. Like I said, the actors in it are all pretty young. It was the first film that I had seen most or maybe all of them in, but some of the top bill cast was Micah Monroe, Keir Gilchrist, and Olivia Liccardi. I don't know if I pronounced those names right. I think I got pretty close though. So, but anyway, it's not in theaters anymore. I was a little late on making this video just because there was a couple of other. I decided I wanted to make this video, and there was a couple of other films that I wanted to view before making it because I wanted to feature them as well. But anyway, when it comes out on DVD, I definitely recommend anyone who is by any means a fan of the horror or thriller genres, definitely check this movie out. It was just outstanding. Definitely the best horror I've seen since, it's probably been years. I'd say the best I've seen since The Conjuring, or maybe even Insidious. But I actually liked it even more than those movies, and I loved those movies. Just beautifully done camera angles, and like I was saying about the setting of it, it's just really well done. Really classic horror camera angles. At the same time, it had like this other kind of feel to it, kind of like a Donnie Darko-ish feel. If anybody's seen that movie, and just really, it really made you care about and love these characters that were in the movie, which isn't really typical, I've found, of horror movies. A lot of times in horror movies, I feel like they make you almost hate the characters in the movies, like, and you're almost just like watching it, just waiting for them to get killed. That sounds like really bad, but hey everybody, I mentioned that I was going to put in a clip from the movie It Follows, the official soundtrack for that movie. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in right here. So give it a listen, and hope you enjoy. See ya. But anyway, the other ones that I wanted to kind of talk about, yeah, all of them I got to see on Netflix. So Netflix has actually, I mean, I complain a lot about it, like, to myself. I'm like, but that's because I watch a lot of shows and movies, and sometimes I just get frustrated. I'm like, they take so long to add stuff. But anyway, lately they've been really good about adding a bunch of stuff, especially in the thriller and horror genres. And ones I wanted to mention are, number one was The Pact. I saw this a while ago, but I definitely said to myself, if I ever do make a video about, horror movies and thrillers, I definitely want to include that because it was super scary. Kind of had, like, undertones of like The Sixth Sense. The camera's always kind of pointing in the wrong direction. Like you always want to see what's on the other side of the camera, and it just won't show you that, you know. And it was really just like some heart-racing scares in it, and really disturbing kind of images and ideas. The next one I have on my list, like I said, all these are, I think, currently on Netflix. You can check them out there if you have a subscription. They're on Watch Instantly. But the next one on there is Resolution, which really came out of left field to me. I almost didn't even watch it because I hadn't heard anything about it. I hadn't heard of the director. Since then, I got to check out his new film, which is called Spring, which I didn't really care for that much. And this movie, Resolution, was very original, horror/thriller. Kind of reminded me of like a Blair Witch Project, but it wasn't the over-the-shoulder found footage type filming. It's about these two guys out in the woods, and they're friends, and the one friend is trying to get the other friend off drugs. So he chains him up in this cabin. He's trying to, keep him there to kind of break his habit. And the place that they're at, they're out in the middle of the woods and they're isolated. And the place they're at turns out to be, I don't really want to say anything more because I'm afraid I'm going to ruin it for somebody, but yeah, it's really cool. It was like, it's kind of like Blair Witch mixed with like movies about like alien abductions. The next movie on my list is Toad Road. That movie just totally blew me away, blew my mind. Like, I was just kind of flipping through stuff on Netflix, not expecting to really find anything good, and just stumbled upon this movie. I think it was like suggested to me because I had watched something else. Can't remember what it was. It might have been Session 9 that the suggestion was based on. But Toad Road is about an urban legend. And I actually, after watching it, like the movie interested me so much that after watching it, I went online on YouTube and somewhere else and looked it up and found out that it's actually a real urban legend. And it's based in a small town near York, Pennsylvania. And the urban legend is called the Seven Gates of Hell, which is about this place referred to as Toad Road, and it also has another name that locals refer to it as, or I might be thinking of what the road was actually called, but it's not really a road at all. It's on the side of these back roads. Along this tree line, there's like this gate, the type of big steel gates that you would see on a farm that kind of swing open. And the urban legend is that is the first out of 7 gates leading to hell. So basically the urban legend is you go through this gate and you keep walking down this path in the woods, and eventually you're going to come across 6 other gates. And once you pass through all those gates, you basically have entered into hell. And the story goes that with each gate that you pass through, weird stuff starts happening. You start to have like audio and visual hallucinations. So it's about this girl and a guy who basically, decide to go and try out this urban legend to see if it's actually true. But the movie was just like, it started off kind of slow, but at the same time, it grabbed your interest right away. Or at least that's how it was for me. Like, not a lot's happening for, like, the whole first half of the movie. You have to watch it to really see what I mean. But even though that's the case, it really, like, it grabs your attention, keeps your attention, because you're just anticipating this thing happening. And it was kind of like a funny thing like the director did. He was like, I don't know if this is what he was thinking, but it was almost like the way that I felt is that he's like, okay, well, I know that they're going to want to see what happens with this, so I'm going to tell the rest of my story first, and then you can see and then you can see if this urban legend is really true or not. One other one that I just wanted to briefly mention is the Canal. That literally just came out on Netflix. I already got to watch it, just because I happened to be searching on there the same day that they released it on Netflix, but I don't want to talk too much about it just because it just came out, but it's not for the faint of heart. It's pretty gruesome and a lot of disturbing images. Kind of reminded me of The Ring and The Shining also, it kind of felt like. But it's basically about a haunted house where that murders occurred in, like a long time ago. I'm not sure what the time period was, but then a guy moves in there with his family, and the guy works for the archives for the town. So that's how he kind of learns about the history of his home. I really enjoyed that, and again, it was I didn't see a single preview about it, heard nothing about it, haven't heard a director, nothing. So it's just another one of these like little gems that I found on Netflix just by chance. So the Canal, if you get a chance, check it out. So just to recap, we had Toad Road, Resolution, and the Pact, and I'm going to try to feature some movie posters and some stills from them in the video. I just really can't say enough about It Follows. I mean, or as far as horror goes, it's about as good as it gets, and they really don't come along that often. So, great cast. Every single one of them just put in, just really gave it their all, and every single character just gave, I think, the best performance that they possibly could. As always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to Sykes Villain. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the next one.